Welcome to your big picture game plan. The first thing you need to understand is that more than 99% of people approach Upwork totally wrong. I'm going to teach you how to build your online freelancing business differently, and perhaps more importantly, how to think differently from the 99% who are working way too hard for subpar results. Now, specifically, most online freelancers fail in 3 areas, which can make or break your results. What these people don't understand is that these aren't the type of problems that can correct themselves if you just do more. The only way to fix them is to attack them head on and make some serious changes. Or, better yet, avoid them in the first place. The first area where most people fail is in understanding and executing on what it takes to win over high-quality clients. Now, I want to define what I mean by high-quality client. I'm talking about someone who has a few specific traits that can be easy to recognize. First, how much you charge is not their top concern. They simply don't choose freelancers primarily for their price. This is good because if you follow the plan I lay out in this course, you will often not be the cheapest option when it comes time to bid on their job. Nor do high-quality clients necessarily even want the cheapest freelancer. In many cases, having too low of a price will actually be a turn-off to them. The next characteristic I want to emphasize about high-quality clients is that they are easy to work with. I don't mean that the work is easy, but rather that the clients themselves are communicative, responsive, and cooperative, and that includes being inclined to give you a good review once the project is over. This is extremely important because having a trail of top-notch reviews is one of the cornerstones of a truly successful online freelancing business. And the third trait specific to high-quality clients is that they're likely to need more work done in the future. I don't care how well a client pays on a given project or how awesome they are to work with. If there isn't a decent chance to keep working with them later on, then the payoff is always going to be limited. And that leads me to the second major area of failure for most online freelancers, which is that when they do manage to land the occasional high-quality client, they too often fail to keep that client for the long term. Many freelancers just consider this par for the course. But when you look at it from a business perspective, it's a total disaster. You may have heard the statistic. It costs 10 times as much money for a business to get a new customer as it does to keep an existing one. This problem is even more magnified for us freelancers, since we have to factor in not only the financial costs of getting new clients, but also our most valuable commodity, our time. So in that sense, it costs us twice as much. Now consider that several of my best clients, whom I've earned tens of thousands of dollars working with, all hired multiple freelancers at the same time they hired me. But today, I'm the only one they continue to do business with, month after month, year after year. The sad truth is that most freelancers just don't do a very good job at serving their clients. They may think they do, but that's only because they've never even considered what it really means to do their job well. We'll go into this in more detail later on in the course. For now, I'll just leave you with a quick little anecdote. I once saw a Facebook post from the well-known entrepreneur Derek Halpern, where he was expressing his frustration with the lack of quality options he's found when hiring freelancers. Derek is someone who's happy to pay well and offer plenty of repeat business, but to him and to every other high-quality client I've spoken to on this subject, their feeling is that there is a shortage of good freelancers to work with. I always think of this and chuckle every time I hear someone whine that there just aren't enough good clients out there. It's a real shame that some freelancers have this scarcity mindset because, ironically, the best clients are actually the exact ones who are happy to keep hiring excellent freelancers if only they could find more of us. Okay, next, let's talk about the third point of failure of most online freelancers, and that is they don't attract enough high-quality job invites. As you'll soon see, I'm not talking about the standard mass invite type of situation that happens when a client invites tons of freelancers to a job just for the hell of it. Nor am I talking about crappy invites that are outside of your wheelhouse or that are from a client who wants to pay unreasonably low fees. What I am talking about are targeted invites, aimed directly at you by high-quality clients who are interested in your work. These are pure gold when it comes to landing new jobs. They can even be private jobs created specifically for you by the client, meaning you have literally no competition. And as I'll explain shortly, most freelancers have no idea that these type of jobs even exist because they have no idea how to attract them. The harsh reality is, most freelancers on Upwork are totally ignorant of everything I've just mentioned, dooming themselves to working for low rates and spending way too much of their time hunting and pecking for new work. In fact, many of the same freelancers are continuing to apply to new jobs all the time. Some of them even send in proposals literally every day. This is fine when you're just starting out, or once in a while if you're trying to drum up new business. But anyone engaging in this practice religiously, year after year, is totally missing the boat on the true potential of Upwork. And they're making themselves unnecessarily miserable in the process. This is where my approach differs radically from most of my competitors. I spend very little of my time actually looking for jobs, yet I've still been able to keep my schedule full of great paying work week in and week out since day one. Now I'm going to lay out the 3 main strategies I've used to accomplish this. Strategy number 1, I aggressively seek out, attract, and win over high-quality clients, while spending 0 of my time looking for mediocre ones or worse. This brings disproportionate rewards when compared with accepting random jobs, because, again, I'm looking for clients who pay well and who will potentially need more work done in the future. This gives me a better return on my investments of time and money when I'm prospecting. This strategy has paid off big time, as about 80% of my freelancing income has come from just 20% of my clients. These results are on par with the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, which states that 80% of results come from just 20% of causes. Think about the power of that statement. As time goes on, I've been able to continually refine my techniques, allowing me to spend less and less of my time with the bottom 80% and more of my time with the 20% who contributes the most to my bottom line. Let's talk about my second big picture strategy. Once I've landed a high quality client, I then take specific, measured steps to increase my chances of turning them into repeat and preferably long-term customers. The key here is that we want to spend as many of our working hours as possible doing billable work. That's work we get paid to do. And we don't get paid to write proposals and look for clients. Notice that by getting the same clients to keep coming back to you with more and more work, you get to increase the amount of time you spend on billable work while simultaneously decreasing the amount of time you spend trying to find new clients. So this is a major win-win situation. And it gives you options because you can either enjoy the time you save on prospecting, or you can choose to do more billable work and make even more money that way. This type of flexibility and potential is what the freelance lifestyle is truly all about. Personally, I've been able to sustain as high as a 50% repeat business rate, meaning half of my customers have the potential to become repeat clients. And this has been one of the keys to my online freelancing success. If you're going to make a good living on Upwork, repeat business isn't a luxury. It's a must. And strategy number 3, as I alluded to earlier, I tap into what I call the hidden Upwork economy. I call it that because it's a job market, a very lucrative one, that's not readily visible to most online freelancers. Yet it is freely available and well within anyone's reach if you know how to get in on the action. Let me explain. The hidden economy is my way of referring to the method many quality clients use when they search for freelancers on Upwork. Rather than posting a job and waiting for freelancers to apply, these clients instead choose to first search for a freelancer who fits the bill they're looking for. Then, only once they find one or more freelancers who catch their eye, they finally post an invite-only job, one that's not visible on the public jobs marketplace, and invite these freelancers to apply. In some invite-only jobs, the client invites multiple freelancers to apply. Even though you still have to compete to win the job in this situation, you've already made the client's shortlist, so you know that they have some interest in you, which gives you a leg up. In other invite-only jobs, as I mentioned earlier, you may be the only freelancer invited to the job. This is the best possible scenario. It's like a politician running for office unopposed. The client is obviously very interested in you and your work, and usually ready to close a deal very quickly. Sometimes they even address you by name, or outright let you know that they want to hire you. Here's an example. Now, if you've spent any time at all applying to public jobs on Upwork, you can immediately see how this type of private job posting sounds completely different from what you'd normally find in a public one. The roles here are almost totally reversed, because in this scenario, they are approaching me rather than the other way around. Instead of having to sell them on why to choose me, they're usually already pretty much sold. If I want to, I can even turn the tables and have them sell me on why I should work with them. This gives you huge psychological and negotiating advantages. Not only is there no one competing with you, but the client clearly places a lot of value in you and your work, making it much easier to charge what you're worth. Now, it's important to understand that I've also found lots of good job opportunities that were 100% available to the public. So I don't want you to discount those, as they are a very viable source of business. In fact, 2 of my best clients came from there very early on, and now, years later, they both continue to send me regular repeat business, which has totaled tens of thousands of dollars. And I've also managed to pick up plenty of other excellent and even premium clients off the public jobs marketplace as well. So you can still earn plenty of money as an online freelancer, even if you aren't getting targeted invites just yet. Still, your goal should be to move toward positioning yourself to attract as many high-quality private job invites as possible, so you can continue to build your client base and raise your rates without having to go out and look for new work. And I've done this through a combination of approaches, which we'll talk about throughout the rest of this course. Here are a couple of action steps for this lesson. I want you to go to Upwork and browse through 5 to 10 random freelancer profiles. From their work histories, see if you can identify which of the 3 critical areas they may be lacking in. Are they working tons of jobs, i.e. burning themselves out? Are they addicted to small gigs that don't pay much? Do they have any private jobs under their belt? Or are they likely to be spending too much time constantly looking for new work? For extra credit, take a closer look at their profile and see if you can begin to identify 1 or 2 reasons why they may not be attracting the type of high-quality clients that we've been discussing. We'll talk more about that in the next module, but for now, I just want you to start thinking about it in the back of your mind. See you in the next lesson.